The first time Commander Elara Voss saw a human up close, she felt revulsion. The chamber lights of the Galactic Council arena dimmed to a cold silver glow as the prisoner was brought in. 2 armored sentinels escorted him through the magnetic containment corridor, their plasma restraints humming softly. He walked upright despite the suppression field weighing on him, broad shoulders squared, head unbowed. Elara's lip curled. "Primitive," she muttered. She was Volari, a species refined by millennia of controlled evolution. Tall, slender, luminous skin that shimmered faintly blue beneath the council lights. Her kind valued intellect, discipline, emotional regulation. They had eradicated violence from their society centuries ago, and now they were staring at its evolutionary ancestor, the human. His name was Elias Kane, a soldier from Earth's outer colonies. Captured after a border skirmish between the Terran Coalition and Volari expansion fleets near the Carthos Drift. Elara had studied his species extensively. Their history was soaked in war. Empires built on blood. Cities destroyed by their own hands. They polluted their world, fought each other endlessly, and still called themselves civilized. Beasts, she had concluded. High Chancellor Theron's voice echoed across the arena. Human Representative Elias Kane, you stand accused of hostile aggression against Volari territory. Elias did not kneel. He did not plead. He simply looked up at the Chancellor, and then at Elara, and smiled. It wasn't a threatening smile. It wasn't submissive. It was steady. Elara felt irritation rise in her chest. You trespassed, Theron continued. You attacked a Volari reconnaissance fleet. Elias finally spoke. You crossed into a human colony system, he said calmly. We defended it. The council murmured. His voice was deep, controlled. No fear. No trembling. Elara leaned toward her console. Permission to question the prisoner. Theron nodded. She stepped down from the council tier, her luminous robes flowing behind her. Standing before him, she realized something uncomfortable. He was taller than she expected. The suppression field should have forced him to his knees. Yet he remained upright, muscles tense but controlled. You are biologically designed for conflict, she said coldly. Your species thrives on dominance, expansion, war. You are ruled by instinct. His eyes, dark, unreadable, studied her. And you're ruled by what? He asked quietly. The question unsettled her. Logic, she replied. He tilted his head slightly. Is that why you're expanding into occupied systems? Elara stiffened. You are a violent species, she snapped. Your history proves it. Yes, he said. No denial. No defensiveness. Just agreement. That was unexpected. Yes, he repeated. We've done terrible things. To each other. To ourselves. The chamber fell silent. But we also learned from them. Elara crossed her arms. Your military presence suggests otherwise. He exhaled slowly. You've never been invaded, have you? Her silence answered him. Must be nice, he continued softly. The council grew restless. Theron raised a hand. This interrogation will continue tomorrow. The human will remain contained. The sentinels moved to escort him away. As he passed her, he paused, just slightly. You call us beasts, he said without looking at her. But you don't actually know what we're capable of. The attack. The attack came 3 cycles later. No warning. No negotiation. The Threx Dominion, an ancient predatory species long dormant beyond map space, emerged from fold space directly above the Volari capital. Their ships were monstrous. Organic. Pulsing with biometallic armor. Within minutes, orbital defenses collapsed. Elara stood on the command platform as explosions lit the sky in burning violet streaks. How did they bypass the perimeter gates? Theron demanded. No known warp signature, an analyst shouted. Their technology doesn't register on Volari spectrum. The first Thrux boarding pods struck the council spire like falling meteors. Walls ruptured. Atmospheric shields failed. Screams echoed through the corridors. Elara felt something she had not experienced since childhood training simulations.
Fear. Real fear.
The Volari had not fought a true war in centuries. Their fleets were designed for deterrence, not survival against a species evolved purely for conquest. The spire trembled violently as a blast tore through the lower levels. Evacuate the council, someone cried. But evacuation routes were already compromised. Elara activated her personal defense field as smoke flooded the chamber. Then she heard it.
A roar.
Not Volari. Not Threx. Human. The beast unleashed. The detention wing had been struck first. Suppression fields flickered under the electromagnetic interference of the Threx weapons. And in one containment chamber, the field failed entirely. Elias Kane felt the pressure vanish. He didn't hesitate. He had heard the explosions, the alien shrieks, the unmistakable sound of a boarding assault. He didn't know who the attackers were, but he knew one thing. If the Volari fell, Earth would be next. He ripped the plasma restraint from his wrist before it fully powered down. The first Threx warrior smashed through the detention corridor doors, a towering creature of chitin and muscle, serrated limbs dripping acidic fluid. It saw him, screeched, charged. Elias ran toward it. The collision shook the corridor. He rolled under the creature's initial strike, grabbed a fallen sentinel's plasma blade, and drove it into the softer membrane beneath the Threx's thorax. It shrieked, flailing.
He didn't stop.
Humans had learned, across thousands of brutal years, exactly how to fight things bigger than themselves. He used the narrow corridor.
Forced it to turn.
Forced it to lose leverage. When it finally collapsed, smoking and twitching, Elias was already moving. Alarms screamed overhead. He followed the sound of combat. Followed the explosions. Toward the council spire. Elara's realization. Elara was pinned behind a fractured support column as two Threx warriors advanced down the chamber. Her defense field was nearly depleted. Her hands trembled as she tried to reroute energy. This was extinction. The Volari were not built for this. One of the creatures raised its bladed limb and was suddenly torn backward. A blur of motion. A flash of plasma. Elias. He moved with terrifying efficiency. No hesitation. No wasted motion. Every strike calculated, brutal, decisive. He used the environment, shattered panels, exposed wiring, gravity fluctuations from damaged stabilizers. One Threx fell. Then the second. He stood over them, breathing hard, blood, not all of it his, staining his uniform. Elara stared at him. He looked feral, focused, alive in the chaos. He turned toward her. You still think I'm the biggest threat in the room? He asked. She couldn't answer. More Threx screeches echoed from deeper in the spire. He extended a hand. Come on. She hesitated only a fraction of a second before taking it. His grip was warm, solid, steady. They ran together through collapsing corridors. What humans are capable of as they moved, Elara witnessed something she had never understood. Humans did not fight because they loved violence. They fought because they refused to lose. Elias coordinated scattered Volari guards with sharp, clear commands. Choke points. Don't engage in open halls. Target the joints, under the plating. Protect your wounded. He shielded civilians with his own body. He carried a fallen Volari child through crossfire. He dragged wounded sentinels behind barricades. Not reckless. Not savage. Protective. When they reached the central command nexus, they found Chancellor Theron injured, defensive shields failing. A massive Threx war form loomed over him. Elias didn't pause. He charged. The battle was violent, desperate, intimate. The war form was nearly twice his size. It impaled him through the side. Elara screamed, but Elias used the momentum, grabbed the embedded limb, and drove his plasma blade straight into the creature's cranial node. They collapsed together. The war form twitched once and went still. Silence fell over the chamber. Smoke drifted. Emergency sirens faded. The remaining Threx ships began retreating as Volari fleets regrouped in orbit. Elara rushed to him. He was conscious.
Barely.
"Why?" she whispered. "Why fight for us?" He coughed, blood at the corner of his mouth. "Because that's what we do," he said weakly. "We fight for people. You were our prisoner." He managed a faint smile.
Yeah, well.
"You were about to be theirs." Her throat tightened. All her assumptions, all her contempt,
Shattered.
The understanding Elias survived. Human physiology, as it turned out, was as resilient as their spirit. Weeks later, he stood once more before the Galactic Council. This time, not in restraints. Elara stood beside him. The chamber was repaired. The scars of battle still visible in the newly forged walls. Chancellor Theron rose slowly. The human Elias Kane acted in defense of Volari Levs at great personal cost. A pause. Charges are dismissed. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Elara stepped forward. "I once called humans beasts," she said, her voice carrying across the arena. Elias glanced at her. She continued. "I believed your history defined you, that your capacity for violence made you inferior." She faced the council. "I was wrong." Silence. "Humans are capable of violence, yes, but also of loyalty, of sacrifice, of courage under impossible odds." She looked at him fully now. "You are capable of choosing what to fight for." Elias met her gaze. "And so are you." Theron lifted his staff. "Let this day mark a new alliance between the Volari and the Terran coalition." Applause rose, hesitant at first, then growing. Elara felt something unfamiliar bloom within her. Not fear. Not superiority. Respect. Later, as the chamber emptied, she approached him privately. "I owe you an apology," she said. He shrugged slightly. "I've been called worse. I misjudged your entire species." He considered that. "Most species do," he said softly, "until it matters." She studied him. "You are dangerous." He smiled faintly.
Yeah.
"But not because you are beasts." He waited. "Because you endure," she finished. He nodded once. "That's the thing about humans," he said. "We survive long enough to become better." Elara watched him walk toward the transport bay, no longer a prisoner. An ally. For the first time, she understood. Humanity's past was brutal, but their strength was not in their violence. It was in their choice. To stand. To protect. To fight for something beyond themselves. And that was far more powerful than any species born in peace.